I love saying that.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the March 12th, 2026 meeting of the Culver Town Council. I'd like to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded and your participation is your consent to be rebroadcast on the town's YouTube channel. Roll call, please.
William Cleavenger, Drew Day,
Present.
Ginny Munroe, Sally Ricciardi.
Here.
And Dana Neer is absent.
Will you all please join me for the pledge of allegiance? I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, justice.
Next order of business on the agenda is the approval of the February 26th meeting, approval of minutes of the February 26th meeting of the Culver Town Council. Councilors, have had a chance to review the minutes? And are there any additional corrections? To approve the minutes of February 26th. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Day. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Minutes approved. Okay, next is public concern, utility and ordinance violation appeals. We have a lot of people in the room, but is there anyone here for a violation or an appeal or so forth? If not, we'll go on to public dialogue, and on this agenda, we have Marshall County Hope.
Right.
Okay,
So Tim has some handouts for you. We appreciate you taking the time to talk about Marshall County Hope tonight. I sent you some information that I'm not sure you've had a chance to look at, so I'll just go through it briefly. Marshall County Hope was created. It is actually started in 2018 through a grant to Beacon Health System to address substance use disorders in Marshall County specifically. COVID hit. Some of that work was delayed, but they did continue to put a lot of investment into the community over the next 5 years or so to address those issues. And one of the things that we discovered through that process is one of the most effective tools that we have to address the issues are peer recovery coaches. So once the grant expired, about that time, the opioid settlement funds were starting to be deployed in Indiana. And we applied for those to help continue the work that was started with that initial grant. So we've asked M-Focus a year or so ago to come in and help us kind of get our arms around how many folks in Marshall County are dealing with substance use disorders. So the second slide shows that data. And these are estimates that based on their work in the past couple of years. What we know is thousands of adults in Marshall County have reported marijuana use, with smaller but significant numbers reporting opioid misuse, cocaine use, and methamphetamine use. Those numbers reinforce the need for recovery supports that help move people from crisis towards stability and long-term recovery. So the numbers that you're looking at, that 4,794, that's nearly 5,000 adults in Marshall County who need help with substance use that are not currently receiving treatment. So then if we look on this third slide, the objectives of Marshall County Hope are to provide those peer services, to be a countywide hub for peer recovery services, giving individuals support on all pathways of recovery. We really base this work on collaboration and education, bringing together organizations and leaders working to support individuals in recovery. Monthly, if you come to the Marshall County Community Foundation and United Way offices on the first Wednesday of the month at 9 o'clock, you'll see our back room filled with people from multiple organizations serving Marshall County that are there to look at where we can best connect people with the resources that they need along that journey. And I would estimate, I think there's usually around 30 to 40 people in that room, representing all sorts of organizations. And then our third role is connecting people to those resources, such as treatment options, transportation, and other community supports that help sustain their recovery. And then slide 4, it shows you our financial resources. As we work to address these issues, we are also focused on responsible stewardship of resources, including the opioid settlement funds. These funds were specifically intended to help communities address the impacts of the opioid crisis through prevention, treatment, and recovery support services. Supporting recovery, peer recovery services is, like I said, one of the most effective ways to ensure that those funds are helping individuals and families in our community. And I just wanted to note, in addition to the opioid settlement dollars, because we all know those are kind of fluid, there's additional settlements that are coming in. The bulk of the settlement money came in over the first couple of years, but there are still settlements that are occurring. So even if we're looking at the state reports and what those numbers are, it could change as each of the settlements are concluded or finalized. So we are seeking other funding resources as well. DMHA, the Department of Mental Health and Addictions, has grant funding available and will be seeking that. Bowen Health has just recently decided that they'll no longer seek the ECHOS grant for peer recovery support. So they are turning that over to Marshall County Hope. So there are additional resources that we'll be pulling in to sustain the work. And I guess one of the things I wanted to note too, when we talk about nearly 5,000 people that need support, this kind of support that we're talking about, currently we're only able to reach maybe 100 people a year. So there's a lot of work yet to be done. And we're really looking at opportunities like the new Indiana Rural Health Transformation Grant. We're hoping that there may be some funding available through that as well, because like I said, there's still a lot of work to do. So then the next slide shows our organizational structure and how we are mobilizing resources. We do have the board of directors. Over this past year, we were able to put together strategic direction and oversight to engage a program director, which is Tim Stark. And he manages the day-to-day operations and coordination and reporting. And this structure helps ensure accountability while maintaining strong connections with our community partners. So on the last slide, I wanted to just let you know who the board of directors are at this point. Dr. Tina Martinez from Greenman is co-president. Greg Erickson Jr. is co-president. Heather Green is our secretary. Kathy Schoaf is the treasurer. Owen Massing, Joe Morris, and Nan Pomeroy are also serving on that board. The United Way is serving as a fiscal sponsor at this time, but the organization has applied for a 501c3 and expect to receive that soon. So in closing my part of this, I want to just tell you I appreciate your time this evening, your thoughtful consideration of using opioid settlements to help sustain the peer recovery services in Marshall County. I'm going to let Tim take over now and talk to you about some of the things you've experienced along the way.
Yeah, couple good stories to tell today.
Yeah.
We do come down to Culver. I checked through the records and we've provided services for 5 people as far as peer coaches down in this area. We have 2 on our records right now that are doing very well. We also supplied, one of the people worked at the academies and they lived a couple miles east of town. So we came down and provided them with transportation on the weekend. We do operate 7/24. We have a line that people can call us, and if they need a ride somewhere, we provide that ride to make sure they get to work if their car doesn't start or whatever the case is. A couple good stories from today. I met with a person and we went over her history. And she's doing very, very well. She found employment in town since I don't know if you all were familiar with Work One, but that's where I had been working. They've kind of backed away from Marshall County for financial reasons, and they're regrouping. So I worked for them for about 2 years. So one of the services that we provide to our people is the things that are the things that Work One was providing: resume building, helping people find a job. We coach people as far as interview coaching, and we've had some great success in the communities around this area. I'm also tied in with the folks over at Cabinet Works. I know the people over there. I did some engineering consulting work over there a couple years ago. They are a felon-friendly company, and the people over there work very well with us, and they reach out once in a while. Zentus in Plymouth is one. Hershey's, where they do the pretzels, the chocolate covered pretzels. They are a great partner of ours. Oasis in Plymouth is a great partner. So we're able to go out. We especially work with David's Courage and the Serenity House in Plymouth. When people get released from jail or incarceration from state prison or wherever, one of the first things that we like to do is get them set up with a resume right out of the get-go to keep them moving, busy. We do the job coaching, and then we do the we help them reach out and find a job, and that portion is actually picking up. So we're doing very well there. One of the other people that I worked with this week, as far as a peer coach, he learned to use heroin, black tar heroin, from his father, who was a dealer, and he was 13 years old the first time he did heroin. He's done heroin for 20 years. He's been clean for over a year now, and we've been providing coaching services for him. And I'm happy to report that he's just doing a wonderful job. And I asked him the other day when I met with him, I said, what was the biggest change for you now? And he says, Tim, it's the first time in my life that I've ever had money in the bank. So he's working, he's saving money, he cares for his wife, she's disabled, and he's doing wonderful. So, and then his wife also had some challenges with substance abuse, and she is no longer using any type of substances. So that's just a couple of our success stories that we've had in the community. We do participate in a lot of the park events. Mayor's summer music up there. My wife and I come down here once in a while when you guys have events down here, and we hand out flyers. My biggest concern, and I was just talking to Chad about it, is we're finding a lot more cases where there are people that are selling and distributing marijuana. The drug dealers are putting fentanyl in it. And the reason they do that is because it makes it more addictive. And I'm especially concerned about that. There were some reports at the state level that there's been some people passed from that. So I'm really, really concerned about our children in the community. And we're trying to get out. We're trying to work with the children in the community and just educate them and say, you know, somebody may tell you that pot's safe, but here's what's going on in the background. So doing a lot of research in that area and doing a lot of community outreach on that. So just a couple of our success stories.
Did you have any questions for us?
Just glad to know there's a program. Before 2018, I don't really think we had one. We had David's Courage, of course, but it's great that you're partnering with those organizations because they're having some of the same success.
Yeah, and we're having great success with, so I graduated from high school with Greg Senior. So we've known each other. We went to grade school together, and we're having a really, really good success helping their people find jobs. Another one of our success stories, real quick, there was a gentleman that I worked at the jail for almost a year. He got out. We worked with him after he got out. He's at David's Courage right now. And we helped him get a job in the area. And within like 6 weeks, he was such a good worker, they made him a working foreman. So that's, you know, we have success cases a lot more than we do failures. And in my opinion, if something goes wrong, it's because the people have to be vested too. You know, they have to put time into it. And that's probably one of my biggest challenges, is trying to convince people and keep them going. But we have some great stories with people we worked with. Last year, we provided services for about 125 people. I've learned that March is a lull in our market, if you will. But when the good weather gets here, we'll start seeing more people come in. I think some of them travel from down south in winter when the weather's nicer.
So ultimately, it's about ensuring that when somebody's ready in Marshall County seeks recovery, that we've got someone in our community ready to help. And so thank you again for your time tonight and your consideration.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for your presentations. Next on the agenda, is there someone else for public dialogue?
It could fall under new business, Mr. President, but we did ask and invite the visitor center here tonight. I apologize for the oversight on the agenda, but I asked them to update the council on kind of the state of the visitor center and where we're at. And Tracy Gordon, thank you.
I'm Tracy Gordon. I'm the executive director of the
Culver and Winfest. Oh my gosh, you guys, remember how I get so nervous when I first started doing this? This is where we're at again. Visitor Center, okay.
Picture an oasis, you're fine.
You're wearing a lot of hats.
Yeah, thank you.
Talk about the other hat.
I agree with that one too. I did bring, some board members with me. I have Karen, she's our president. I have, Kevin, he's our vice president, and Beth is our treasurer. Barb Johnson, Gil Stanley, and Liz from, Three Bird Lane. She's also one of our new board members. Kevin sent me a bunch of questions, so I'm just gonna kind of summarize where we're at. Okay. He asked about our overall budget. It's about $85,000. Kind of asked me to break that up a little bit. Staff and operations is about 40,000, and our marketing, our programs is about 45,000. Our plan for marketing for this year, I just recently hired Lucy Overmeyer as the assistant executive director. She's going to be doing all of our social media, websites, reels, TikToks, anything that that generation does really good. She is really going to start managing our digital footprint. We have been marketing through social media for a while, but we really we need her, and she's going to help us pick that up. Events magnets we just got those out right after Winterfest. I didn't want to overwhelm. We had them before Winterfest, but we had a lot of material going out for Winterfest, so I didn't want it to be too much for our businesses. So those are all in the businesses now. Other things, other ways we market: banners, programs, newspapers, signage, posters, punch cards, the event magnet I just talked about, in radio and interviews, which if you guys think this is bad for me, wait till you hear me on the radio. Radio ads, social media. And then we have a couple of magazines that we're in. So the Indiana Festival Guide, the Lakes Magazine monthly, and then in Travel In, which is like Travel Indiana. So I've written articles for them, and we've got those going out pretty much. Well, the Lakes Magazine is more of ads. We will have a couple articles in there, but the other ones are we do those 4 times a year. They're seasonal. One of the things that was asked was, do we work with other local organizations? So Karen and Barb and Liz serve on Develop Culver board. And then Karen and Kevin are both from our schools, Karen from the community and Kevin from the academy. We are working with Winterfest, Fall Fest, paint out events, holiday hop or holiday weekend. Liz is part of the Main Street development group. And we are meeting, Lucy and I are meeting, supposed to be monthly, but it's starting to be weekly with all these business members. So trying to get on trying to make sure that we're marketing for them and the way that they want us to market, and that it's going to work for both of us. So, you guys asked, you asked about the visitors website and who's responsible for that. Well, it's been me in the past couple months. We went through a little bit of a stale part of our website where nothing was going in. So we have a big list. It's a big website of things that need to be updated and overrun. One of the things that we added, well, the events calendar is updated. It's always updated. I added a little link for the businesses to click on. It gets them to a form, and they just fill it out, what's going on in their store. This weekend, we're going to be having pizza for every person that comes in and buys something, and they get a free piece of pizza. I'm just, that's not what the deal is. So don't go telling people. Tracy told me this. But, and then they send that to me. It comes to me in the form, and then I'll put it in our events. And then if they send something to me, like they make something on Canva or something that is an ad, they can send it to me, and then we'll post it on our Facebook page, our website, that kind of stuff. So, and the last thing was, what's our relationship with the visitor center?
with the visitor center and Marshall County Tourism, sorry. It's good. We have a great relationship with them. Andrea, who's been a part of, visitor center for a long time, is on the board there. I met with her a couple days ago. We are in the middle of writing a grant. Mark Moore is part of that, Glenn,
Brindberg.
yep,
There you go.
and, he's on there as well. So, that's kind of an overall. You know, following these guys, I should have done like a better presentation where I had things to give you guys. Maybe show me out. Thanks. So that's the visitor center. In the past, you guys have given us $30,000 yearly, so it's 7,500 quarterly, to help with our operations, our expenses and things like that. I'm here to ask that I hope you guys are gonna continue to do that for us. We need it. We're not just sitting around.
Well, Lucy's been running the updates on the website.
Yeah, her and I, we're gonna do the website together, so. It's a big project.
Then you mentioned Marshall, I apologize, council, but there was, you said you are writing the grant for Marshall County Tourism, okay? Okay.
I went to write the grant. I had things that I was gonna do. I was gonna do it more event focused. And then after talking with Mark and Andrea, we're gonna go a different route on that. More marketing, more focusing on bringing people into here, more working with the Airbnbs, Verbo, and our bed and breakfast.
It's encouraging to hear that communications happen.
For sure, yeah.
Behind the nerves is a great passion for the work.
Thank you, thank
It's
you.
appreciated because it's a lot of volunteer hours on top of those
Yeah,
other hours. So there's no way you're not wearing multiple hats in that position.
Thank you.
Congrats on getting Lucy. That's a great. asset.
Yes, yeah, it's great having her down there. She works down at Civies, so having her down there, you know, boots on the ground kind of, you know, I'm not down there, or, you know, she's done lots of little conversations and things like that, starters. It's good.
I was in New Buffalo with friends that have been to Culver a number of times. They're from more like the Crown Point Northwest region. And they're like, we kind of love Culver more. So we've been going to New Buffalo every year just for a weekend. And they're like, can we just start coming back to Culver again? And they're like, there's so much to do. And like, we actually know about it. It's like, that's because we have a visitor center and they really, like, it was really cool to brag on it.
Awesome, thank you.
So there's gonna be some Northwest Indiana people here next year changing our traditions.
Any other questions?
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Thanks.
We have anything else, Kevin, in the audience?
Any other surprise? No. Mr. President, I don't have a surprise guest for you tonight.
Kevin and Karen, I know we addressed the visitor center budget time. I can't remember when we've done the opioid settlement funds. Is that also more of a budget time, or is it? I know they come in a certain time, et cetera. Do we?
Right, it's been budgeted. I mean, it's set up in the budget, but it's probably a good idea for you all to vote and say, yes, we're going to commit those funds.
That's what I was
To
wondering.
each of those
if we should take some
organizations.
action. Based on the presentation. I would make the motion that we approve our opioid funds going to the Hope organization. Whenever those come in and as Karen has distributed in the past.
Can I,
Monroe moves to, you want to say that again, please?
can I just, so you have opioid restricted funds and you have opioid unrestricted funds. The restricted funds have to go to a program similar to this. The unrestricted funds don't have to. We have in the past given those to Marshall County Hope. I just want to make it clear that in your motion, is it restricted, unrestricted?
Right.
Yeah,
I would
so if
amend
you
my
could be
motion to advise that we do both restricted and unrestricted funds. to get it. Thank you, Karen.
Mr. Monroe moves. Second by Mr. Ricciardi. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
And certainly, I know we don't have a visitor center tonight, but Tracy, thank you. Budget time, I'm sure it's nice to get a presentation before the budget
Yeah, that's
starts.
anytime. I mean, I love getting up and talking to them all.
Okay.
You want to make? Have we distributed funds yet this year?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I wanted to confirm that. We have yet to distribute funds and with council's approval for this year, not for the remaining of the year. Can we get a motion to distribute those funds?
I would make the motion that we continue to distribute the visitor center funds for 2026.
Mr. Monroe moves. Do they have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Day seconds. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Yeah, they're-
Now she can legally send us the bill.
I know, I.
Tracy looked at me, so we went ahead and did that.
Have any old business? Do you have any new business?
I have a new business item. I was gonna do it under council issue, but it probably should be under new business. So the Wild Rose Moon is applying for a READY grant or an arts and culture grant. And they reached out to, myself and Marty about, writing a letter of support. And they would like to get those letters by the 27th of March. And I offered, I told Marty I'd be happy to write one on behalf of council if the council would vote to support their grant application. They're basically seeking an arts and culture grant to continue their 5-year strategic regional plan. And as you guys know, the CRC is a sponsor of the Wild Rose Moon. And we're getting quite a bit of good ROI on that sponsorship. Our logo and our town is appearing in performances in South Bend and Plymouth. So I haven't written a letter to be able to go, here's what it would say, but I would love the authorization to write it where the town manager could sign it. Or Bill, you could with Kevin reviewing it, but because that deadline is right away, and I just recently learned of it, I haven't had time to write it, but I could get it done in the next few days and get it off to you two. But I would want the council to know that we would be supporting. There's no financial support. It's just our belief that arts and culture are good for the region and that as our comp plan, et cetera, we'll write it in a similar way that we did the Stellar grants. But I didn't want to put the burden on someone else since he reached out to us. I'm assuming that Marty may write one from redevelopment or, the redevelopment commission may do a separate letter. But I thought the council should do one as well, if you all agree.
You want to put that in form of a motion? No?
Yes, I would motion that you authorize me to write a letter that supports the READY Arts and Culture Grant for the Wild Rose Moon.
Mr. Roberts to allow her to write a letter of support for the Freddie grant and the, what is it, the
Wild Rose Moon.
Moon. Is there a second?
I'll second that, but I think we should have addition to Kevin and you signing.
Okay.
If that-
Add to the motion that the town manager and president council sign the letter.
All right. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Ricciardi. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign.
Thanks. I'll get that to you ASAP.
As long as I don't have to write it, Jenny, that's fine. Thank you.
Any other new business? If not, Department reports, emergency services.
You must have nothing tonight.
To write honorable seeds.
Is anyone online for fire? Nobody online for fire. Chief Becker.
Yeah, no problem. Good evening, council. I provide you with.
It's not a bill.
I don't have any bills or financial requests, this evening. But I submit to you the, February reports for your review. Also to bring you up to speed, I have met with the property manager out of the dunes now that they're starting to get more and more residents out there. I've met with the property owner, or excuse me, property manager out there. Went through some emergency access points, learned about, the Knox boxes. Got some things clarified that there were not keys in the Knox boxes to allow a certain access. So working on those safety and security measures out there as we see more and more residents starting to come in out there. You're gonna see a new part-time officer. I hired a new part-time officer. Luckily for me, his availability is better at night. Where I need some help. So he comes to us from the sheriff's department, so he has some experience within the county. You may be seeing a new officer out here. Want to bring a little bit of a success story on our programs that you folks implemented and allowed us to do a couple of years ago with our take-home patrol cars. So our take-home patrol cars are not for personal use. They only allow the officer to take them to and from work. And there are times where in my years of not having a take-home car, I'm either going to and from work in a full uniform, all comes out, or you see something, you can't do anything. Having just that small amount of availability, the guys going to and from work, is sometimes beneficial, and we don't always bring those to you to let you know about those. But the end of last month, we had a report, our day shift officer took a report. A local resident went and utilized the services of the laundromat. And come to find out that their stuff was gone. And they come back to find it. So he starts the investigation. Again, we have one officer working at a time, but I would like to commend my officers that we are all really good about exchanging information. Pretty much every day, even when we're not working. And you don't get that in a lot of companies and stuff out here. People, when they're off, you don't always can get a hold of them. But we share information back and forth all the time between us. And this particular day, the officer went and got the video. We saw a car, we saw a person. We share it with all of us. And lo and behold, the guy who's coming to work for that night shift is ready to pull out of his driveway. And the car drives by his driveway. The car that we're looking for. He's able to stop that. Confirm that's who we're looking for. Gets them back to here. We got it all worked out. We got those people's property returned to them. And though in the grand scheme, I'm glad it's only a property crime and may seem petty, but to those people, that was their personal belongings. But when you're the victim, that's important to you. And we got those people their stuff back. If we wouldn't have shared that information between us, when we're not working, the guy pulling out of his driveway wouldn't have had that information. And if he didn't have the car to do anything, we may not have been able to get that. So a small impact, but it's something that we could get taken care of for our residents. So that's the big things. Glad that we were able to avoid the storms for Culver. And so I know all of us kind of have, everybody has a smartphone, and when the weather's coming, they're looking at the weather. And so I'm glad that we were able to avoid those storms. However, I was at home monitoring the situation. I was listening to our radio traffic here. I was listening to Stark County, because that's where it was tracking from. I was listening to other radios. that I have access to and listening to the storm come across. And so at home, I'm hearing I'm watching the weather radar. It looks like things are tracking towards us. And then it looks like it's starting to go north and go away from us. And it's at that time that I start hearing what we all know is the tornado siren going off. And then it's followed by what we know is the fire siren going off. And you're thinking, if you're looking at your phone like I was, I thought this avoided us. And then there was a little bit of a lull. And for those of you that hear that siren, you'll know, then the tornado siren goes off again. So I reached out to Zach, the director of the communications in Marshall County, just today to get some insight, because I just kind of wanted you and some of the folks in the community to understand maybe what was going on with that and why, when you're looking at your weather radar and it shows clear and color, or the tornado sirens going on. So this is not my wheelhouse, not my forte, but I try to get as many notes as I can at least give you some generalized information on this. So one thing that he wanted me to stress is we all know these as tornado sirens, but they really should be designated and called an outdoor warning siren, because they can be used for all kinds of different things. And they're designated for outdoor, because a lot of the fieldy questions that he gets is, well, I'm in my house and I don't hear it. It's not going to be adequate for everybody inside their house. They're kind of designed for an outdoor warning system. But speaking to Zach today, and I'm going to go through the notes again because this is not my wheelhouse, and I want to try to get things as accurate as I can. But, those are strategically placed around the county. We have those, I'm going to, for lack of better terms, that refer to them as a tornado siren. Well, so we have these tornado sirens strategically placed around the county. Plymouth, Bourbon, and Culver are the ones that are controlled by the dispatch center. The other ones that are strategically placed throughout the county are not controlled by the dispatch center. They're controlled by those local municipalities. The ones that are controlled, Plymouth, Culver, and Bourbon, by the dispatch center, are hooked into an automatic system that the sheriff bought into and paid for. Those are hooked into an automatic system. When the National Weather Service designates Marshall County as a tornado warning, those trigger. Takes the responsibility off the dispatcher, it gets it out there. Again, those are only those three. Those are going to go off by a geographical Marshall County area. So anywhere Marshall County is in a tornado warning, those sirens are going to go off. So that's why in this particular form that came across this week, there was a lot of warning ahead. So everybody was probably aware of it, watching their TV and watching their radar. I was concerned when I saw it in Knox. It looked like it was on a direct path for us over here. And I'm not hearing any sirens. And then it starts to turn, and it looks like Plymouth is going to be the direct area. I'm not hearing any sirens. Then it goes and turns even farther north, and now we're hearing the sirens. So if you're looking at your radar and you're trying to figure out why is Culver sirens going off, because Marshall County got designated as a tornado warning for the northwest corner of our county. And those three went off. So that's kind of a little insight of why maybe you're looking at your weather radar and trying to figure out why we're going off when there's severe weather in other parts of it. Any of these could be set off manually at any time. We could override those. EMA director, fire chiefs, police chiefs, trained weather spotters call in. There can be an override. But that's how they're into an automatic. And they might not all go off. But I kind of asked him, why did I hear a tornado siren, and why did I hear a fire siren go off? He said, years ago, those were tied in together, and one would cancel the other one out. A few years ago, former fire chief contacted him and said, we think it's imperative that people are notified and hear the tornado siren going off. So that one takes precedence. That's going to go off. Maybe then followed by what we all traditionally know as the on and off fire dispatch siren. And so that may be why those were going on and on. So he and I shared some of the same concerns that when's the perfect timing for these to go off? If tornadoes and severe weather's coming at 60, 70 miles an hour, 100 miles an hour, takes 3 minutes of a siren to go off. I would have liked to heard stuff when it was in the other county. And we shared those same concerns. He's reached out to the National Weather Service. They try to pick a perfect ratio of time, the best that they can. They don't want to do it too soon. Even though a lot of storms like this are coming in and they're predicted, everybody's watching them. It kind of seems like when you watch the radar and it goes out of your area, you don't really care anymore. We're in the clear. So they try to find that perfect area. They don't want to make it too soon where it's going off and you're going outside going, don't see a problem. And you just continue with your business outside and then you get caught in. They don't want to make it too late, of course. We all know the reasons on that. So they tried to find that perfect time. We've kind of, again, heard our stories that we wish it would be ahead of time, but that's how the sirens are triggered automatically. There's policies that they try to figure out the perfect timing. And that's how it is. Everybody's up for discussion. If something needs to happen in the future, but again, we can do those manual overrides if need be. And we can have future discussions about people's thoughts all across the county and different stakeholders and that. So there's not going to be a perfect timing ratio. All the resources do this the best they can. The takeaway of this is today's society that we live in, everybody's got smartphones. You've got alerts going off. You've got maps on your phone. Take some self-responsibility. We all know the kind of heads up that we're getting about this. When those outdoor weather activations go off, use that as a resource, but don't just rely on it and say, why is it going off? I don't see anything going off. Do your own homework, look at your maps, use your internet, use your TV, radio, etc., and be safe for what your geographical location. But that kind of explains why you may look at a radar and see other parts of the county look like it's severe and it's not here. Where? So, I thought it was important that, again, we did have this a couple days ago, and there hasn't been a lot of time for me to meet with the fire chief or EMS director and disseminate this information, but thought it may be on people's mind because we hear all these sirens going off. And we just had these storms that came through and their surrounding areas. We were lucky here, but I just kind of wanted to get a little bit of insight on that. That was the tip of the iceberg of my cliff notes. So that's all I have. Unless you folks have any.
Is the new car ready?
It is. It's outside. I picked it up earlier in the week. It has all the equipment in it.
Good.
Everything is squared away with that.
Good. Any council members have anything for chief?
Thanks for the education.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mark.
I don't have a lot. I'm just in the middle of peers and hiring and Easter all being at the same time. So that's just taking up most of my time. We are hosting the Northern District Leadership meeting here next Wednesday at the Beach Lodge. So we'll have all of the park superintendents from the Northern District here. So that's kind of exciting. I don't really have anything else.
All right. Thank you. Bob on the line.
Playing the part of Bob tonight will be Kevin Dante.
All right.
Bob has a couple requests. He couldn't be here tonight and not be online. First and foremost, it's that time again, kids. Blue River Technologies, the geotextile container bags out at the old wastewater plant are due. We need 12 of them, 20 by 30 yard finest materials, 7,560 asked for approval for those purchases. Yeah, there's been something to do with the whole golf crisis thing. Yeah, I don't know if they did or not, Jenny, but okay.
Just saying.
It's Mark. So if I could get an approval for those valued bags, thank you.
Mr.
One
Monroe,
thing we definitely want to get rid of.
yeah. Mr. Monroe moved for the purchase of the bags, seconded by Mr. Ricciardi. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Much appreciated. Second order of business from Bob. He asked, it's that time, seasonal worker. Looking for summer help. He wanted council's permission to go ahead and advertise and seek that filling of the position.
Mr. Monroe moves to approve the addition of a seasonal worker. Second. Second by Mr. Ricciardi. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Pose same sign.
That's it from Bob.
Okay. Well, as long as you're there.
I'm on stage. I'll just keep singing. I don't have any meteorological information, but that was good. I was going to reach out and appreciate Chad doing that. Thanks, actually. I was going to talk to Jack Gardner too, because I had the same questions about that. I assumed that was the case.
Maybe we
Thanks.
can have him come down. and
Not a bad
more
idea.
in depth.
He's got a couple other things he wants to talk about too, so it's good. I do have a couple special permits I'd like to go ahead and exercise for the end of May. Date event is May 29th, 12 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. It's summer reading kickoff at the library. Anticipated crowd is 100 to 150 people. Looking like Union Township, Culver Union Township Public Library is the contact. It's for the summer reading. Bank First Farmer next door has agreed to the parking lot, the use of that. So it's going to be outside. Obviously, there's no alcohol involved. I think it's for the kids. Signage around closed parking lot. They'll clean up, AED, fire extinguisher, all the good stuff. They've done. Montana submitted it. She's usually pretty good about things. I asked council's permission and approval of this. Thank you.
Honorable.
Second. Thanks, Jim.
Moves again. For the library permit, seconded by Mr. Ricciardi. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Yeah.
Pose same sign. Thank you.
Thank you, council. 5:30, 26, as well as 7:31, 26. Start time 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Lions Club White Cane fundraiser. Number of people anticipated, normal Culver traffic. That's interesting. Located Jefferson Main Street, Lakeshore and Academy. Culver's Lions Club is the contact for this event description. Stand on 2 intersections collecting money towards Lions Club as fundraisers for vision needed. And it's a good cause. We'll be standing at Jefferson and Main, 3 or 4 people at the intersection and Lakeshore Academy. This year we don't have the same concerns with Lakeshore, so we'll avoid any discussion on that. Will alcohol be served? No. We will remove the signs, the cones. They've got all the cleanup and no anticipation for sound equipment. That's good to hear. It's Jill earlier is the contact it looks like, and everybody's approved. Police chief, I need your signature on this after the meeting, if you would, please. But I ask for council's approval for the events.
Chair moves to approve the White Cane event. I have a second.
I'll let Jim say.
I'll second.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Day. Yeah. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. Thank you.
Tighten it up here. All right, so I got a few order of business and some updates. Interviews with the wastewater plant will be next week, and I've informed council. Also distributed a list of questions today, meant to serve as guidance, not mandatory, but I think they're questions that originate from conversations we've had. Also reading the responses and submittals of the RFQ, as well as some of the experience talking with Ben and Bob. I think the questions are meant to be guiding. If you look through them, if there's anything I need to add, please shoot a text or an email over the weekend. I'll be happy to edit those. But again, I'm really encouraged. I think we have 5 strong companies coming in, firms coming in. I'm confident they all bring something unique to the table, and the interviews should help us sort it out. Interviews, again, the structure for that will be 30 minutes. Kind of keep it tight on the time frame, and we'll go from there. If there's anything that I need to know, please email over the weekend as we start them on Monday and we have on Friday. Had a nice conversation this week with the hotel. Cobblestone came up with one of their co-founders, co-owners, I should say. We brought in, I want to thank Ted Foster, Ted Simpson, and Mike Rednicki. On Monday, they generously donated the time. They're interested maybe from an investor standpoint. They took the time to take a look at some performance, some of the data, and have conversation. And I look forward to hearing back from them to see where those conversations went. It is a key element. The hotel has to be able to attract private investors, or we're not going to be implementing it if that can't happen. It's a good way to vet the validity of having that in there. If investors see the worth in it, then the town can move with them. Retail strategies, April 1st, 12 to 1:30, there'll be public outreach that's been advertised by Karen's done a great job of putting it out there. Looking forward, we're starting to seek out people to come into that meeting, to have conversations, to look. I love the term Renaissance, and I'd like to think that this is an opportunity of the Renaissance of our downtown. There's been a lot of good things that have happened there in the past, and to build on those and to see if we can find new opportunities to develop our Main Street is encouraging. And I look forward to hearing from them, as well as some of the public participation in there. And coupled on that has to be the theater again. The theater, we've had a conversation with Kurt Neubauer. You were privy to the email exchange, I believe, Council. And I would love for them, I feel as though that it's time in this relationship to sit at the same table and have a conversation with their board and the council. I think there needs to be some details, some questions being asked, and I think direct communication avoids any type of conflict. And I think it's that time. I've asked Kurt to kind of arrange a time possibly, and I'll keep council appraised the situation as he communicates with me. Check mark all those. Karen and I both have had conversations with the post office concerning the Dunes address, and we're sure that they're getting remedy. We've been getting a few phone calls about mail, but that's actually an encouraging sign. It means people are living out there, and we're starting to get quite a few people moving in the early stages. So it's encouraging to see that. Had a wonderful conversation. I have to share. It's Chad's a storyteller. I'm going to tell a couple too. Guy from Missouri. I love that. Missouri called me. Him and his wife moving up here. They're retired. Their daughter teaches over at the academy. They decided they wanted to be closer, and this just seemed like a really nice place to live. Went on for about 15 minutes, and he asked, "Where's my mail?" We'll get on that. So, yeah, good conversation nonetheless.
Are they planning since Main Street is the dividing line between east and west?
Mhm.
Do they plan on? I saw the Tampa Street says West Tampa.
Yep.
But Wabash doesn't.
These questions and more, Sally. I'll ask about Wabash Street. I did learn that the senior residencies have their own boxes inside. The apartments have the boxes located as common boxes and in the back of the apartment units, and all the housing units will share very similar to Maple Ridge. They'll all share a large mail complex, basically unit with the boxes inside of it. So that much I know, Sally. In terms of the addressing, I can't inform you on that. I did notice that West Tampa, but I hadn't noticed what Wabash wasn't named similar. I'll ask that question, find out.
Thank you.
That's it for me tonight.
Ms. Heim, your report.
I have a couple of invoices for your approval. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes and stuff didn't get deleted. 2 invoices for your approval, 120 water, which was technically approved at last meeting, $13,200. And that comes out of water and contractual services. And then Peerless Midwest submitted a claim for $65,000, which comes out of the GEO bond, and that's for the water improvement project. If I could have a motion to.
Mr. Ricciardi moves to approve the invoices over $2,500.
I'll second.
Second by Mr. Day. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those same sign.
You also wanted to report that the annual financial report and the annual uploads to the State Board of Accounts were submitted on February 27th. The next rounds of reports for me are due in April, and that includes the annual TIF management report and the SLFRF report, which is basically the American Rescue Plan funds that need to be spent by the end of the year, and we're done. So for that. And then I just wanted to share that I spent, I've been gone since Sunday, just got back late this afternoon. I was down in Plainfield with my colleagues of the Indiana League of Municipal Clerks and Treasurers. We hold an institute and academy each year in Plainfield, and we meet. We started Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. Had classes for 2 hours. Started up again Monday morning at 8 and went until 5:30. Tuesday we went until 6:30. Wednesday again we went until 5 or 5:30, and today we went until 11:30, I think. So I just wanted to review the list of classes that we had. I'm going to try to put together a more detailed report, but these are just the classes that we had. So we had managing municipal utilities and delinquencies. Let's see, that was 2 hours on Sunday. State Board of Accounts taught beginning at 9 o'clock until 1:30. We had de-escalation and action through effective communication. It was a gentleman from 2 Rescue in Michigan, talked about how to handle angry people coming to the window and, hopefully talking them down, reading body language, using words, not to say calm down, because no one ever calmed down when you told them to calm down. Thank you.
I used to just say the police station's right
Yeah.
there.
So it talked about actually that there's another class we talked about. You don't talk this way. Yeah, that strategic budgeting for municipal clerks and treasurers for 2 hours. We had an hour and a half of legislative updates from the AIM team, which was enlightening, frustrating, and somewhat hopeful. Rethinking the clerk treasurer's office, tools, processes, and participation. Defend your municipality like a pro. That talked about the First Amendment auditors, which we do need to do some training for, but I have a couple of fun stories from that, which I could, but I'm not going to take the time to share right now. Build a strong municipal employee handbook, which was fine because we're just past ours. So from vision to venue, how Plainfield leveraged tax increment finance and collaboration to create Hendricks Live, which is a beautiful, if you haven't been to Plainfield lately, they used TIF funds, worked together with a couple of different organizations and built a beautiful theater in their downtown area. And actually the theater sits on the first property that was purchased back in 1832 in Plainfield, which basically started Plainfield, but it's also their municipal government complex on the other side. And they talked about how the architecture and how it was very open to create the atmosphere of transparency. So I sat and drooled a little bit and then came home to our venue. Sorry, to our lovely building. We also had municipal Jeopardy, which was kind of it was fun because a little bit of trivia combined with every question had just some other background. I will say I'm proud to say I landed in the top 5 of the answers. So I knew a lot more than I thought I did. I also talked about ethics in action. We laughed at that one a little bit because I'm sorry, Kevin, but I had to share this. But Tul Lee is an attorney with Taft Law, and he put the thing up and he said, "I'm not sure why you asked an attorney to teach on ethics," but he has a really good sense of humor, and we laughed, and we really appreciated his insight as we appreciate yours. We talked about engage, inform, empower, which is what's up 24/7, which is something we're really trying to do here in Culver, which would help the visitor center as well. It's a community calendar as well as a white pages. And Kevin and I are hoping to try to get around to local businesses, provide information and get them signed up for this. But I think it would be a really valuable tool for not only Culver, but if we can get other people around us really looking at that regional involvement and regional information on types of events. Yeah.
We can talk.
So we talked about cybersecurity for Culver, body working, listening with your eyes. Talked about just being able to read body language, which was really fun and interesting. And we ended out today. I hope we don't ever have to deal with this, but managing the impact of employee loss in the workplace, which is a very good, impactful session. And then finished out with all things insurance, essential coverage, and risk management for municipalities. So that was my week. Also had a lot of bleary-eyed clerk treasurers Wednesday morning as we were all sitting up watching what was happening at home and just praying that our communities weren't impacted. I was very thankful
So you
that
upload
we were staying.
The clerks must be exhausted.
We are, yeah, I will probably go home tonight and sleep very well. So, but I appreciate the council giving me the opportunity or allowing me to attend these conferences and
Thanks for sharing.
learn. So,
Thanks for going.
I was gonna say, on an operational note, on a daily, day in and day out, I cannot tell you how many times that I'm poking my head in the office and the answer is there. And that's a nice thing because that means I don't have to sit, no I'm kidding, but in all reality, they're discussing things that are relevant that we don't get to in manager's meetings, right? And the connection to the state legislators even more. It's been valuable keeping up to date on what's happening with Senate Enrollment Act, and Karen does a great job of keeping those connections. So it's not time away. It's so valuable because what she's bringing back to the office is, from a human resource standpoint, especially, is so valuable in managerial styles.
and actually, along the
Thanks.
Senate Enrolled Act 1, along those lines, I did provide some information after session ended about House Bill 1001. And there are a number of requirements that we will have to meet as far as planning and zoning. There's some additional like public hearings that we're going to have by our plan commission regarding our zoning ordinances.
Yeah.
As a number of people have said, they kind of took a really, really bad bill and made it not quite so bad, but it's still not so good. The other thing with the Senate Enrolled Act 1, they were trying to make a lot of fixes to what they passed last year. Not a whole lot of fixes with the property tax aspect of it, more with the lit part of it. And they've delayed the implementation of the new lit system until 28, I believe, pay 29. And between now and October 1st, the municipal finance officers are to meet along with the county council member it's called the MUF committee, I think, municipal something advisory council. We need to meet to discuss what the lit tax rates will be and basically see if we can come to some sort of agreement. The county is then responsible for submitting a report to the state by October 1st. So I've been talking with my colleagues across Marshall County, finding a date that we can get together and start discussing and then getting together. We just want to take the lead on this and get things together. We're probably going to have a lit 101 class at some point and just get our brains all around.
So
Really,
all the clerks will be on that table.
all 5 of us, yes. Yeah.
I'm
So
glad you guys met past.
yeah, we do have a really good working relationship. I mean, last couple of years, we've tried to get together on a quarterly basis and kind of went off track for a little bit with COVID, and we're all busy too. So taking time out isn't sometimes a luxury, but to get us all in one room and discussing how that's all going to work out is important. That's all I have. And thank you for giving me the time.
Thank you very much. Council issues, Ms. Munroe. Mr. Ricciardi. Mr. Day. I have nothing. Entertain a motion to adjourn. It's been moved by Mr. Ricciardi, second by Mr. Day. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Adjourn.